Hey everyone, it is Thursday, July 28th. The time is 5:15 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 28 degrees Celsius. And there's a look towards Bloor Street West. And this here is Beresford Avenue. And in a moment, I'll be hopping on the e-scooter there and riding down to Bloor Street West. And then I'll ride east along the entire length of the Bloor and Danforth cycle track. And that covers a distance of around 17 kilometers. All right, let's get moving. And this is Bloor Street West, so I'll be turning left here. And this is the eastern end of the Bloor West Village. And this is where the cycle track begins. So it will almost be a complete cycle track between here and Victoria Park Avenue in Scarborough. There are a few gaps. There's one right at the Junction Triangle. And then I think there's another one a few blocks away due to some construction. Thank you. They looked at me and waved me through. I'm not about to go right of a right turning vehicle. Also, they were there first. And I had entered the High Park Swansea neighborhood. There's an old library branch. So the city had been dragging their feet for quite a while when it came to installing bike lanes on Bloor. In 2016, there was a rather half-assed stretch put in between Ossington Avenue and Avenue Road. However, the pandemic expedited things, and in 2020, we saw bike lanes between Runnymede going all the way to Dawes Road, which this year were extended 700 meters to Victoria Park Avenue. And they've been such a success that the City Council voted them as a permanent addition in December of 2021. They also voted in a number of other bike lanes that started off as temporary bike lanes. That overpass there is what line 2 of the subway runs across, so we'll be riding parallel to the subway. Speaking of which, there goes the train. That's an eastbound train. So right where I started at Runnymede was Runnymede Station, and just in on the left here is High Park Station. And that guy had a whole mattress laid down. I don't know if the camera picked that up, but on the right is High Park. this is the main entrance to High Park coming up just at the top of this hill. It's an interesting look. And the police have been making news here for pulling out their radar guns and busting weekend cyclists zooming around the park. There's a posted limit of 20 kilometers per hour. And I think the overall reaction has been, that's nice, but how about enforcing some other traffic rules? I rode to where I started this one from my home in Midtown Toronto. And I nearly got hit by 3 motorists, and I witnessed some other incidents as well. And this is Parkside Drive on the right, Keele Street on the left. And you'll notice there's a dedicated cycle light here. And just on the left is Keele Station. And there is a bunch of jugs in the bike lane. I just kicked them onto the sidewalk. And I think the neighborhood just to the north of here is known as West Bend. This is Indian Road. And coming up is Dundas Street West at the next major intersection. And that's where you'll find Dundas Subway Station, or Dundas West Subway Station, which is quite a bit north of the other Dundas station at Yonge and Dundas. And you'll also find a GO station. Here's Dundas Street West. Once I go underneath this rail corridor, we will be in the Junction Triangle. That's the West Toronto rail path as well that runs alongside the rail corridor. There's someone opting to walk their bike through here, and you can't really blame them. It's narrow. It's not uncommon to get buzzed by traffic. Vehicles are supposed to leave a full meter between you and them. I don't know if the city has any intentions of properly installing bike lanes through this stretch. It might be that it's too narrow through there. This is Sterling Road. I think upon its completion, it's instantly became the most used cycle track in the city. Previously, that was Adelaide and Richmond. Those are both one-way streets that run parallel to one another. I'm going to stay to the right of these cones here. And here is Landsdowne Avenue. So just to the north is Landsdowne subway station. And between Landsdowne and Dufferin, this neighborhood is known as Bloordale. Wasn't sure what that guy on the bike was doing. Hey, there's another jug in the bike lane. And these patios set up are part of the Cafe TO program. They kind of push the bike lanes out into traffic a bit. And this is Brock Avenue. There's talk of extending the bike lanes in the opposite direction, westward, all the way to the city of Mississauga. That would definitely be welcome. Coming up is Dufferin, as well as Dufferin Station. From Bloordale to Bloorcourt. This area is often called Bloorcourt Village. And after this, it'll be through Koreatown and then into downtown. This is Havelock Street. And I chose this direction so that I would have the sun at my back. That way I wouldn't be riding directly into the sun. Here's Dovercourt Road. And the next major street coming up will be Ossington. And that's where you'll find Ossington subway station. Here's Ossington. Not sure what this person is doing on their bike. Just taking a break. And here is Shaw Street, an excellent street to take your bike down, or e-scooter. I've had a person on my tail on their bike pretty much the whole way. I guess they're happy with the speed. That guy didn't even try to stop behind the line. And on the left is Christie Pitts Park. And coming up is Koreatown. Christie Station is just on the left. And that guy passed, finally. And before it was Koreatown, this area was known as Little Hungary. There's a large Hungarian-Canadian population living mostly to the south of here, around Harbrook Street. And this is Manning Avenue. This street is Palmerston. And on the right is where Honest Ed's used to be. There's now a rental building complex going in there. And here's Bathurst Street, Bathurst Station just to the north, and we are entering the Annex neighborhood. As well as downtown. Bloor Street cuts across the north end of downtown. This seems to be the area where someone is most likely to wander into the bike path, in my experience. That's Brunswick Avenue. And on the right, the old Brunswick House. Hopefully that gets restored to its former glory as a bar.
Hello.
I feel like
And this is Spadina coming up with Spadina Station just on the left. This is around the center point of the Annex. I should have probably taken that opportunity to go around this girl. She's rather inconsistent with her speed. So you may have noticed I am not on a bike, I'm on an e-scooter. A lot of people wonder what the legality of riding these is in Toronto. Well, the province of Ontario has a 5-year e-scooter pilot project that cities could opt into, and somewhat tragically, the city of Toronto did not sign up to be a part of it. So technically, you're not supposed to be ridden in public areas, but the reality is you've probably already seen dozens of them on this ride. And it's something that fortunately the police don't enforce. So it's kind of in a gray area. And I don't think that's a ticket that's ever been challenged. There's Varsity Stadium on the right. And just to the north of here is St. George subway station. This is Bedford Road. And the mayor of Toronto lives in that condo right there. Maybe we could go talk some sense into him. I own a regular bike, several e-bikes, and a few e-scooters. When it comes to getting around within downtown and most of Midtown, I think the e-scooter is my preferred way to do it. It really makes zero sense that the city wouldn't have opted into the e-scooter pilot project. It's affordable personal transportation, something we need more of, and the city's actually building infrastructure to support. And here's the Royal Ontario Museum on the right. Is that a wedding? Something is going on. A whole lot of people wearing white. And this is the Yorkville neighborhood now. I certainly don't feel any less safe on my e-scooter than I do on my bikes. I can't go any faster on it. It also has the distinct advantage of being able to hop off at any time. I can also instantly convert myself into a pedestrian, whereas getting off your bike and walking it across the street, if you're, say, going through a scramble crossing, can be quite annoying, and almost no one actually does that. Plus, you can often take these things inside to places where you wouldn't be able to your bike, and Toronto has a rampant bike theft problem. And not everyone has the knees and hips that are cut out for cycling, or the $2,000 to buy a decent e-bike, so these things plug an accessibility gap as well. This is Bay and Bloor. And next week I'll be off to Amsterdam. It'll be interesting to compare how our infrastructure fares versus a city that is built around the pedestrian and the cyclist. And I think there's an ongoing e-scooter debate there as well. It's worth noting the biggest cause of traffic congestion is the single occupant vehicle, and that's what most of these are. Here's Yonge Bloor. And here's where you'll find Bloor Yonge Station, and before at Bay is where you would have found Bay Station. And it's on to the east side of downtown. next major street coming up is Church, and just to the south of there is the village. And I was walking along this stretch of Bloor Street East yesterday. I did a walk that went up Jarvis Street, and then I came west along Bloor over to Bloor Yonge Station. This is Huntley Street, and just to the north of here is Mount Pleasant Road. Here's Sherbourne Street. And here's a rare Line 2 subway station that's on the south side of Bloor. And they're replacing the pedestrian bridge that goes over the Rosedale Valley Road. So the bike lanes have disappeared along the stretch. And the St. Jamestown neighborhood is just on the right. This guy, oh, he stopped. And he proceeds to blow the red light. And this is Parliament Street. You can turn right here and head down to the Cabbagetown neighborhood. This is the Rosedale Valley I'm passing over. There's Castle Frank on the left. That's the last of the Line 2 downtown subway stations. And here's a red light. People often just ride right through. coming up is an overpass called the Prince Edward Viaduct, otherwise known as the Bloor Viaduct. And a few weeks ago, the YouTube channel City Nerd had a video about the most used cycle lanes over bridges. And I thought this one might be worthy to be on that list. I'm not sure if the data is available for that. There's another one in Toronto that for sure would be worthy of it, the Humber Bay Arch Bridge, but that's a rather short bridge and it doesn't really serve commuters. Downtown, and I'm just about to cross over the Don Valley Parkway. I'm over the Don River right now, and we'll be entering Riverdale. And according to my scooter, I've got somewhere between 60 and 70% battery left. I don't think I'm going to have enough juice to ride all the way home from Victoria Park. It's okay, I might grab a meal. Yeah, if there's a place to plug this in, I have the charge cable, I'll do it. Maybe I'll just go to the Burger King there or something. That might give me enough juice to make it back. If not, I can always just hop on the subway. Well, I really don't like doing that when I come out on this thing. It kind of defeats the purpose. Here's Broadview Avenue, and Broadview subway station is just to the north. And from here to the end of Greektown every September was the Taste of the Danforth Festival, or I think in August actually. That's the biggest street festival of its kind in the city, but that has been canceled this year. And the business improvement area is blaming these bike lanes and these sidewalk patios as the reason, saying their vendors don't have enough room to operate, which is a load of BS. They have been rather vocal in terms of their opposition to the bike lanes. And what's funny is when these bike lanes went in on Danforth, there was almost instantly a 40% increase in cycling traffic, and it's been growing steadily since then. They've been nothing but an overwhelming success. And other neighborhoods have been able to manage their festivals in areas that have bike lanes and sidewalk patios. Signs that you are in NIMBY country. And coming up at Chester, I'll be entering Greektown. That runs between there and roughly Jones Avenue. And unfortunately, the patios on the south side of the street are less than ideal in the late afternoon. They've got the sun beaming down directly on them. Whereas the ones on the north side have the benefit of shade from the different buildings that run alongside the north side. I couldn't have worded that any more awkwardly, could I? Here's Logan Avenue. right there used to be a large Tim Hortons that is now Push Pounds.
What's your last?
Whenever
Oh, yeah.
There's Carlisle Avenue. And if you are wondering, I've kept my speed peg to around 20 kilometers per hour. That lady didn't bother to look behind her. Coming up is Pape. And that's where you'll find Pape subway station. That guy passed on the right and gave me no warning. That is quite dangerous to do. Your instinct is just to kind of veer back to the right when you pass someone to your left. But he snuck up beside me. And the same goes for drivers too. That's why you typically don't pass on the right. Thank you for visiting. So we are leaving Greektown. This is Jones Avenue. I guess that guy doesn't know what a sidewalk is. There's the only cafe on the left. They've got a great patio out back. And here's Donlands. And the subway station is just to the north of here. They all are. They built the subway using a cut and cover method. So rather than dig up Bloor Street, or rather Danforth, well, I guess both of them, the same would apply. They basically dug a large trench and put the subway in it. And if you go to Google Maps and look at the satellite view, you can see kind of like a long series of parkettes that follow along the subway line. So to build it, they would have had to have ripped out a rather large number of homes across the entire line. And unfortunately, things haven't really intensified along line 2, mostly due to silly zoning laws. So there's a development proposal to put a 9-story tower on the right. Here is Greenwood Avenue, and there's a subway station hidden just to the north of here. You really wouldn't know it just from walking along the street. And Greenwood has a bike lane. And the area straight ahead, just to the east of here, between, I think, Greenwood and Coxwell, is known as Little Ethiopia, at least unofficially. Officially, it's known as East Danforth. And just to the north of here is the former borough of East York. And to the east, I'll be finishing right at the border between Toronto and the former borough of Scarborough. Just going for a walk in the bike lane, why not? Here's Monarch Park Avenue. Just to the south of here is a large park called, what else? Monarch Park. Here's Coxwell Avenue, and there's another subway station just to the north. And way back when, before there was a subway along line too, there were streetcars along Danforth. And just on the right is an old car house. It is still operated by the Toronto Transit Commission. And this is Glebe-Mount Avenue. And you can see how inconsistent the bicycle infrastructure is. One moment you're in a protected bike lane, the next moment it's just a painted gutter. Ideally, they'd have permanent separation up. And I think the idea is to implement a better solution the next time they resurface the street. Just makes more sense to time everything when they have to rip it up and redo it anyways. And here's Woodbine Avenue. Woodbine Station again, it's just to the north of here. You'd think the TTC would put in some kind of signage. And that couple in front of me is on a Rad Power mini bike, or e-bike. That was one of the models I was looking at when I got my move-in last year. Hey, I'm down to 2.5 bars of battery out of 5. I haven't tracked my ride, but I've been on this thing for quite a while. I took it from Midtown all the way over to Runnymede and Bloor, where I started this. And you know the rest from there. This used to end at Dawes Road, this bike lane, but earlier in the year they extended it to Victoria Park Avenue. It really should have been extended to Victoria Park from the onset. This is Westlake Avenue. And coming up is Main Street Station. In an area also known as Danforth Village. And just to the south of Main Street here, there is a GO train station. Here's Main Street. And this will be the last stop, or last subway stop I go past. And this is where the 506 Carlton streetcar terminates. And this is actually the most northern streetcar stop on the network. You might think it's St. Clair, but Toronto doesn't go exactly north-south. And I think that's the second longest streetcar route next to 501 Queen, which currently isn't running all the way to the west. So I guess for now it is the longest. We'll start here and it'll take you south down to Gerrard, then all the way into downtown, where it'll go up Parliament to Carlton, then it'll take Carlton over to where it becomes College, and then it'll go all the way to High Park. So it'll even run on Dundas Street for a bit. I actually think I'll probably be okay for battery getting back home. Here's Dawes Road, so this is where the bike lane previously came to a finish, so this stretch is all new. I have yet to ride in here. It would make sense if they put a bike lane on Victoria Park Avenue. Gotta be careful through here on an e-scooter. There's all kinds of furniture stores here. There's a Leon's. This is Sibley Avenue, I think it says. And the bike share network extends all the way out here. It's really not a bad part of town at all. Although we're starting to creep into the suburbs. And you can tell by this big plaza on the right with its giant parking lots. A dedicated bus lane for about 40 meters. There's the Burger King and the Church's Chicken. And this is Victoria Park Avenue. So on the other side of this is Scarborough. And Victoria Park subway station is just to the north of here. They should at least extend the bike lane from here to there. I'm just going to go on this last little stretch to say I am now in Scarborough, and I have ridden the entire Bloor-Danforth cycle track. And this is Thora Avenue. And just like that, we come to an end. See what the camera says. It's at 59. Ooh, we're gonna crack the hour mark on this one. There's a look at my battery status. So each bar is 20%. So I have 2.5 bars. It's not an exact science. There's the e-scooter. I hope you enjoyed this one. This ride was about 17 kilometers from just west of Runnymede Road in Bloor West Village, east along Olive, Bloor and Danforth cycle track, including the stretches where the bike lane stops to exist. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there are links in the description to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership. And I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there's a super thanks button below the video as well if you wish to say thanks that way. All right, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.